He's currently, my mom just passed away. I don't understand how your grieving translates into your committing, and you're Miss Pius, correct? All right, you entered a plea of guilty on January 21st.
Right from the start, the tension in this courtroom is obvious. The defendant says her mother just passed away, and the judge immediately challenges that explanation. In many criminal cases, defendants try to explain their actions through personal tragedy, but judges are trained to separate emotion from accountability. The big question here becomes, is this a genuine explanation or simply an excuse for criminal behavior? And as this hearing unfolds, we're about to see how the court weighs sympathy against responsibility.
Charged with fraudulent possession or use of credit card or debit card, 10 to 50 items they're really not to be used now because your plea bargain agreement, I haven't even accepted it yet and entered a sentence. I've just accepted the contract that you want to enter into. Do you understand? All right. So, but again, if somebody brings me case law that says something differently, I'll review it. I never said I know everything. Punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,200 fine. State is opposed to your application. This is running concurrent with 2025 CR 008396. All right, state, you're opposed. I'll hear your argument, but before we do that, for the record, on cause number 2025 CR 008396, there was a plea of guilty to count 1. The enhancement in count 2 was waived without objection.
Now things get legally complex. What the judge is doing here is laying out multiple cases that are being handled together, and notice the phrase running concurrent. In simple terms, that means the prison sentences happen at the same time instead of stacking on top of each other. That can dramatically reduce the total time someone spends behind bars. But even with concurrent sentences, a 10-year punishment recommendation is still incredibly serious. And the next big question becomes whether the judge might allow probation instead of prison.
And according to the plea bargain agreement in that case, punishment is to be assessed 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,200 fine. This case is run concurrent with 2025 CR 014167. Taking in consideration 2025 CR 015020 and 2025 CR 015019. All right, the court will hear argument.
She's done. She should place in the past with more for making crimes. Keep having the knowledge. Two, she's involved over connection based on the top valuation between having not motivation and motivation to make her strive to pass to successful on motivations.
All right, defense.
Judge, I spoke with Ms. Paez and she wanted me to speak on her behalf. So she informed me, and I think it's noted in the top evaluation, she has 4 kids, and they're currently in custody of the father-in-law. And apparently she had congenital heart failure, epilepsy. So while she was in the hospital, the kids were removed from her custody. I would anticipate if the court grants her release, there's going to have to be some sort of CPS plan before she can get custody of the kids. She informed probation, informed me she planned to live with a friend of hers. She did mention, she had prior criminal convictions for probation for drug use, and indicated use of amphetamines and marijuana, but according to the TAP evaluation.
This is a critical turning point in the hearing. When the defendant decides to speak directly to the judge under oath, everything changes. Now her words are not just a personal statement, they become sworn testimony, meaning prosecutors can question her and challenge her credibility. Sometimes defendants help their case by speaking, but other times, they unintentionally make things worse. And judging by the tension in the room, everyone here knows this moment could decide her future.
none for 5 years. But I'd like to ask the court for probation so she can get out, try to take care of her kids and give her a chance to get back on track and hopefully stay out of trouble. So I'd ask the court to grant her application for probation.
All right. Is there anything you wish to say? Well, here's the thing. Before you say anything, I would have to place you under oath, and the state would have an opportunity to ask you questions. So, do you wish to say anything? Can you raise your right hand?
It's at this moment. She fucked up.
All right. I'm going to need you to speak so I can hear in probation to him. And so the state can hear it. All right. If you'll state your name for the record.
Melissa Renee Pipe.
All right.
What would you like to tell the judge about why you think he should be given an opportunity of probation?
I think that I should be given an opportunity of probation because I have been incarcerated twice in the past, but I do have children out there and I do want to be in their lives.
And here's where the judge's skepticism becomes clear. The defendant says grief pushed her into crime, but the judge is trying to understand the logic behind that claim. In the courtroom, explanations must make sense, not just emotionally, but rationally. Judges often test a defendant's thought process to see whether they truly understand their mistakes or are simply shifting blame. And in this moment, the judge appears unconvinced, which is never a good sign when someone is hoping for probation.
The only way I'm going to be able to get back in my student life is if I get in order for me to do that, I know what is coming if I take those. If I know that I'm going to have to for a long time. So I know that. But the longer that I wait to get my life right, I'm not going to be able to. And when I get out, I have 2 job offerings, one at the Bolero and one at a hotel. Both of my friends are offering me jobs there immediately. And I have no issue with submitting drugs analysis. I have no problem doing them. And I'd like to be given that shot.
Well, I'm glad you shared that with me. It's a big step for both of us.
Counsel witness.
Because you mentioned with children, we think about the children instead of the opposite. No. How is the court to believe now that you can use it over that medication? I was be successful on medication. I was grieving whenever I committed these crimes. My mom just passed away a year ago, this last month. So I wasn't in the right state of mind. I wasn't thinking about anybody other than myself. Yep.
I'm ready.
All right. I have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I don't understand how your grieving translates into your committing crime. And the reason why I'm asking, I'm trying to understand your thought process.
Okay, when my mom passed away,
Does anybody have any Kleenex over there?
my mom passed away. I made that spiral down just immediately. And then I needed help paying for my brother's bills whenever I got out. Because I was living with him, I rolled out to Vivo, and I just got into something that was easy and it stuck. And that's why I did it, because I just wanted to help. But drugs was never my addiction. It was the fact that I needed help and I couldn't. But I was
So sorry. Excuse me, miss. You're going to have to take a seat. All right, you may continue.
I was grieving, and I did admit that I did start doing drugs, but like I said, drugs has never been my thing. So when I did that, it's just like when I got stuck doing that one thing on that drug that just kept going from there. And I just kept
And where were your children doing all of this?
they were my father. But my father-in-law again was telling me that I couldn't get back into my children's life until I was stable, and I understood that. But again, I was grieving and I started doing drugs, and I just, I got stuck in that. Looking, where I parole out to is Vivo, and they're over here.
So your parole offers what?
I paroled out to Vivo, where my mom lived, And my kids are here in Hong Kong.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. So here's the thing. I don't think you're appropriate for probation. So I'm not going to grant your application. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fine you on cause number 2025 CR 014167. Court is going to find you guilty. Court will sentence you to a $1,200 fine. Time and money will run concurrently. Court will request the therapeutic community. This will run concurrent with 2025 CR 008396. Take in consideration, there's to be no contact with, I'm sorry, state you may be excused. There's to be no contact with Mission Mitsubishi at 9800 San Pedro, and the court will sentence you to 9 years in the prison and give you credit for any time served. On that cause number, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because it's a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. In cause number 2025 CR 008396, court is going to find you guilty. Court will give you credit for any time served. Court will sentence you to 9 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,200 fine. Time and money will run concurrently. Concurrent with 2025 CR 014167, 2025 CR 01. All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. The therapeutic community is designed to help you with whatever issues you may have, to help you hopefully come back into society, rehabilitated, and be successful and not get sent back. I don't have any jurisdiction to force them to place you in the program, but in the judgment, it will see that the court requested the therapeutic community. It won't increase the time that you're in custody, and you'll need to request it as well. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Klaus.